In a city like Mumbai, where every second is a race and every person is chasing success, one mysterious disappearance barely gets noticed. But in 2015, a missing persons case caught the city's attention. Because the man who vanished wasn't just anyone. He was Prasad Mandavkar, a well-connected figure known for his flashy lifestyle and powerful contacts. Prasad was the kind of man who loved attention, expensive clothes, luxury cars, late-night parties. His life looked perfect from the outside. But behind that shine, something dark was waiting to surface. On June 6, 2015, Mumbai police received a complaint. Prasad had been missing for 3 days. The complaint was filed by his brother, who said Prasad hadn't returned home. His phone was switched off and he was last seen with 3 of his closest friends, Amol Joshi, Gaurav Bosale, and Ashish Sawant. At first, the police treated it like a normal missing persons case, but soon small details started to twist the story into something far more sinister. When the police tracked Prasad's last phone location, it showed near Panvel Highway, a desolate stretch of road outside the city. Around the same area, CCTV cameras had captured a suspicious car speeding late that night. That car was traced, and shockingly, it was registered under Amol Joshi's name, one of Prasad's best friends. The police called all 3 men for questioning. Calmly, they repeated the same story, that they were all at a party together, and after that, Prasad left alone. Their statements were too perfect, as if rehearsed. That's when suspicion began to grow. The police could sense something wasn't right. As the investigation deepened, officers uncovered that Prasad and Amol had been having serious disputes lately, over money, jealousy, and rumors. Word was spreading that Prasad was having an affair with Amol's girlfriend. And in a world driven by ego and pride, that rumor was enough to turn friendship into hate. The police brought the trio back for a second round of interrogation, but this time it wasn't so easy. Amol's confidence began to fade. Gaurav's hands trembled. Ashish couldn't meet the officer's eyes. The air inside the interrogation room grew tense. Something dark was about to come out. At that moment, the police realized this wasn't a simple missing case anymore. It was the beginning of a nightmare buried beneath friendship and betrayal. The real question was, where was Prasad Mandavkar? And if his friends knew the answer, then why were they so afraid to speak? The question echoed in the investigation room. Where was Prasad Mandavkar? It was a question that no one dared to answer, yet every look, every nervous breath in that room screamed guilt. The police had no proof, but their instincts told them they were sitting across from men hiding something horrifying. Detective Inspector Suresh Patil, a seasoned officer who had seen countless lies dressed as truth, decided to dig deeper. He ordered a forensic sweep of Amol's car. When the reports came back, the results sent a chill through the entire department. Faint traces of blood were found in the trunk. Not much, but enough to raise a storm of suspicion. When confronted with the evidence, Amol's face went pale. He stuttered, saying it was just a small cut from shifting boxes. But the forensics team wasn't convinced. The blood was identified as human, and soon a DNA test confirmed the unthinkable. It belonged to Prasad Mandavkar. The room fell silent when the report was read aloud. The friends who once celebrated together were now looking at each other with fear and disbelief. The silence was so heavy that even the ticking clock sounded like thunder. The police now had their first solid link. They decided to retrace the final hours of Prasad's life. CCTV footage from a nearby resort showed Prasad and his 3 friends arriving late at night, appearing cheerful. But hours later, only the 3 men left. Prasad was missing. That one missing frame told 1,000 stories. Detective Patil and his team drove to the same Panvel highway location that had appeared in Prasad's phone records. After hours of searching in the blazing sun, one of the officers noticed something unusual. An area of soil that seemed recently disturbed near a rocky slope. As they started digging, a strange smell began to fill the air, and what they uncovered was a nightmare come alive. Wrapped in a plastic sheet, a decomposed body was pulled out. The face was barely recognizable, but a gold chain and a tattoo on the wrist gave it away. It was Prasad Mandavkar. The glamorous, confident man who once ruled social circles now lay cold beneath the dirt of betrayal. The police called Amol, Gaurav, and Ashish in for a final interrogation. This time, there was no escape. One by one, their lies began to crumble. Gaurav broke down first, crying uncontrollably, saying, "It wasn't supposed to happen. We just wanted to scare him." But the story that followed was darker than anyone could imagine. According to the confession, it all started with jealousy and rage. Amol had found out about Prasad's closeness with his girlfriend. Instead of confronting him, he plotted revenge. On the night of the party, they lured Prasad out under the pretext of a drive and drinks. They stopped the car near the highway, pretending to fix a tire. That's when Amol confronted him, shouting accusations. Words turned into shoves, shoves turned into punches, and in a blind fit of anger, Amol picked up an iron rod and struck Prasad on the head. Gaurav and Ashish panicked. Prasad was bleeding and unconscious, gasping for air. They claimed they wanted to take him to a hospital, but Amol stopped them, screaming that it was too late. That Prasad was dead. In that moment of fear and chaos, friendship died too. They wrapped Prasad's body in plastic and buried him near the highway before fleeing the scene. The confession shook everyone. What started as friendship had ended in murder. Driven not by greed but by obsession and pride. The police later recovered the murder weapon from a drainage pipe, right where Amol had hidden it. Every detail matched the forensic evidence, sealing their fate. As the truth came out, the news exploded across Mumbai. People who once envied Prasad's life couldn't believe how it ended. Betrayed by those he trusted most, social media filled with old photos of them smiling together, captions like "Brothers for Life," haunting everyone who saw them. The case went to trial months later, and the court heard every chilling detail. Amol Joshi was convicted of murder, while Gaurav and Ashish were charged with destroying evidence and helping in concealment of a body. Justice was finally served, but the wound left behind was far deeper than any sentence could heal. Even today, people say if you drive down Panvel Highway late at night, you'll see a lonely stretch of road where the wind seems heavier, the silence thicker, as if it remembers what happened there. But the question that still lingers in everyone's mind is, was this truly an act of rage? Or was there someone else, still out there, who wanted Prasad Mandavkar gone, and used friendship as the perfect cover for murder? Even after Amol's shocking confession, something still didn't sit right with Inspector Suresh Patil. The story was too neat, too perfectly tied together. He had worked enough cases to know that murder born of emotion always left cracks. But this story felt scripted. Someone else's hand was still in play. Patil started re-examining Prasad's financial records, phone logs, and social media activity from the last few weeks before his death. And then came the twist that changed everything. Prasad had recently withdrawn 10 lakh rupees in cash from his account, but no one knew where that money went. Not even his family. When the police tracked his call history, one name kept reappearing. Rashmi Deshmukh, a local event manager who often handled Prasad's parties. She wasn't mentioned in any of the friends' statements. That immediately drew Patil's attention. Rashmi was brought in for questioning. At first, she appeared calm, even cooperative, but when asked about the money, her composure cracked. She admitted Prasad had given her the cash just 2 days before his disappearance. He said he was clearing debts and starting fresh. But who he owed that money to, she had no idea. The phrase "starting fresh" haunted Patil. It sounded like a man planning to walk away from something. Or someone. When he checked Prasad's messages, one deleted chat caught his eye. After forensic recovery, it revealed a conversation between Prasad and a local political aide, threatening him to stay silent about certain dealings. Suddenly, the picture began to change. What if Prasad wasn't just killed because of a love affair? What if his death served more than one purpose? Patil dug into the political connection and discovered that Prasad had been acting as a middleman in a few land deals involving influential names. Recently, one of those deals had gone bad, and Prasad was threatening to expose them. But before he could do that, he vanished. When the police questioned Amol again, this time with these new findings, his arrogance faded into silence. Under pressure, he finally revealed the hidden truth. The fight that night wasn't just about jealousy. A few days earlier, Prasad had told him he was going to report everything. The money, the illegal deals, and even Amol's involvement as a small-time fixer. He said he was done with corruption and lies. Amol panicked. He knew that if Prasad spoke, not only would his girlfriend's betrayal come to light, but his criminal connections too. The people backing him were powerful and dangerous. They gave him one message: handle it before it handles you. And that's exactly what he did. He planned the night to look like a drunken argument gone wrong, but he wasn't alone. Someone from the political circle had pushed him to ensure Prasad never spoke again. After the murder, that same contact helped Amol and his friends stay quiet, until guilt tore the mask apart. When all the evidence was pieced together, it revealed a story of greed layered with ego, jealousy, and manipulation. Prasad's death wasn't just a personal feud. It was a conspiracy disguised as a crime of passion. Months later, as the trial concluded, Amol and his friends were sentenced. But none of the political figures were ever directly charged. The case officially closed with Amol as the main culprit. Yet even Inspector Patil knew justice had only been half served. Years passed, but the whispers around Prasad's murder never stopped. People still debated whether Amol was truly the mastermind, or merely a pawn used by more powerful hands. Some claimed to have seen Rashmi leaving the city days before the body was found. Others said Amol received mysterious financial help even after his arrest. The truth, like Prasad's final moment, was buried deep beneath the surface. As for Panvel Highway, it became infamous among locals. Truck drivers spoke of strange lights flickering along the slope, as if someone still searched for something they'd lost. maybe peace, maybe answers. And so the story of Prasad Mandavkar ended, not with justice, but with questions that refused to die. Because in the end, was Prasad's death truly the result of friendship gone wrong? Or was friendship just the mask, hiding the face of a much bigger monster still walking free among us? The end. Or perhaps the beginning of another truth yet to be found.